Draw the reflection of the shaded triangle in the mirror line. So we need to reflect the shape so that we have the same on both sides. But we have a diagonal mirror line, and that can make it more confusing. So what we can do is just turn our page to make the mirror line vertical, and then we can just dot the corners, so count the number of squares from the mirror line. For this point here, we have half a square to the left, so we can dot half a square to the right. For this point here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 squares to the left, so we can count 1, 2, 3, 4 squares to the right. And finally, for this point here, we have a half, 1, 2, so we can count on the other side a half, 1, 2, and dot our third corner. And then all we need to do is join up our corners, and we've reflected our shape. Lara has some identical rectangles. They are 7 centimetres long and 2 centimetres wide. She uses 5 of her rectangles to make the large rectangle below. What is the perimeter of the large rectangle? So we can write what we know onto our diagram. We know that the shorter sides are 2 centimetres and the longer sides are 7. And we also can remember that the perimeter is the distance around the outside of the shape. So we have 10 lengths of 2 centimetres, so that's 20 altogether. And then we have 2 lengths of 7 centimetres, so that's 14 altogether. So if we add those, we can see that the total length around the outside of the shape, so the perimeter, is 34 centimetres. Now, what is the area of the large rectangle? So there are different ways that we can do this. We could find the area of one small rectangle and then multiply that by 5, because with area you can multiply. The area of a shape is just how much space it takes up, or how much stuff there is on the inside of a shape. And to find the area of a rectangle, we multiply the width and length. So 2 times 7, or 7 times 2, is 14, so the area of a small rectangle is 14 centimetres squared. So because this large rectangle is made up of 5 of these, we can multiply 5 by 14 centimetres squared, and 5 times 14 is 70, so the area is 70 centimetres squared. Or we could write what we know onto our diagram. So we know that the longer length is 7, and then each rectangle is 2 centimetres wide, so we have 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and 5 times 2 is 10. So then, because this larger rectangle has a width of 7 and a length of 10, we can multiply 7 by 10, and again we get the same answer. We get an area of 70 centimetres squared. Here is the calendar for the August when Luke was on holiday. Luke came back from holiday on August the 4th. He went on holiday 2 weeks before that date. On what date did Luke go on holiday? So we can find August the 4th because that's when Luke came back, but we need to find the date 2 weeks before that. We can see that we have July the 29th up here, so the day before that will be July the 28th, so that will be 1 week before August the 4th, but we want to know 2 weeks before, and a week before July the 28th will be July the 21st, because there are 7 days in a week, so if we subtract 7, that's subtracting 1 week. So Luke went on holiday on July the 21st. These cuboids are made from small cubes. Write how many small cubes there are in each cuboid. The first is done for you. So we can see that they've given us the dimensions of each cuboid, so given us the length, breadth and height. And what we need to do to find the number of cubes is to just multiply these together. So here we have 12 cubes because 2 times 2 is 4 times 3 is 12. Now here we have 1 times 2, so that's 2 times 5 is 10. Here we have 2 times 4, so that's 8 times 2 is 16. And finally 2 times 3 is 6, and 6 times 5 is 30. Find two cube numbers that total 152. So we need to remember that cube numbers are what we get when we multiply a number by itself and then multiply it by itself again. So the first 5 cube numbers are 1, 8, 27, 64 and 125. 1 cubed is 1 because 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. Then we have 8 because 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 again is 8. Then 27 because 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 again is 27. 4 times 4 is 16 times 4 again is 64. And 5 times 5 is 25 times 5 again is 125. So the numbers here that add up to 152 are 125 and 27. Chris saves 50p coins. He has saved 45 of them. How much money has Chris saved? So we can multiply 45 by 50p, and that will give us the total amount in pence that Chris has saved. Or we could count up in steps of 50p. So if we know 1 coin is 50p, multiply that by 2, and we know that saving 2 coins means saving £1 altogether. If we multiply that by 10, 2 times 10 is 20, 1 times 10 is 10. So if he saves 20 coins, that will be £10. Multiply by 2 again, saving 40 coins will be £20. And then if we work out 40 coins plus 2 coins plus another 2 coins plus another coin will make 45 coins altogether. So 40 coins is £20. Then if we add another pound, 42 coins would be £21, 44 coins would be £22, and that means 45 coins total £22.50. So that's how much money Chris has saved. The other way to work this out would be to think if he'd saved £1 coins and he'd saved 45 of them, that would be £45. But 50p coins are half the amount of £1 coins, so we could divide £45 by 2, and if we use short division, we get £22.50, so get the same answer. Forest School sells badges for charity. For each badge sold, £1.20 is given to a charity. How much does the charity get when 12 badges are sold? So we need to work out £1.20 times 12, because when we know the cost of one thing or price of one thing, and we have lots of those things, we use multiplication. £1.20 times 12 is £14.40, and we can work that out without having to use column multiplication, because if we know that 12 times 12 is 144, we just have an end zero here in the question, so need an end zero here. Now, if the charity got £24, how many badges were sold? So here we need to divide £24, so the total amount, by £1.20, so the amount for each badge. If we think 10 badges costing £1.20 would be £12 altogether, £24 is £12 times 2, So if we multiply 10 by 2, that tells us that 20 badges were sold. So remember, with division, it might be confusing to divide £24 by £1.20, but we can count up in steps of £1.20 until we get to £24. So we know that 20 badges were sold. Here are 4 lengths. We have 55 millimetres, 5 centimetres, 0.55 metres, and 5.5 millimetres. Write the lengths in order, starting with the shortest. So we have lengths in different units. We have millimetres, centimetres, and metres. But we know how to convert both millimetres and metres into centimetres, so we can make our units the same. To change 55 millimetres into centimetres, we need to divide by 10, because 10 millimetres is the same as 1 centimetre. So we can divide by 10 by writing 55 with the decimal point at the end, copying it down, and then to divide by 10, we move the digits 1 square to the right, so that's 5.5 centimetres. Now we have 5 centimetres, so it's already in centimetres, we don't need to change that. But here we need to change metres into centimetres. Remember, there are 100 centimetres in a metre, so we can multiply 0.55 by 100. So we copy down the decimal point and move the digits 2 squares to the left, and that gives us 55 with a decimal point at the end, and if the decimal point is at the end of a number, we have a whole number. So we have 55 centimetres. And now we have 5.5 millimetres. Remember, there are 10 millimetres in 1 centimetre, so this will be less than 1 centimetre. We need to divide 5.5 by 10. We can copy down the decimal point and move the digits 1 square to the right. We have an empty ones column, so we can write a 0 here, and that gives us 0.55 centimetres. So because that's less than a centimetre, we know 5.5 millimetres will be our shortest length, then we have 5 centimetres, then 5.5 centimetres, which is the same as 55 millimetres, and it's best to write the values that they've given you in the question, not what you've changed. And that means our largest distance, our largest length, is 55 centimetres, which is the same as 0.55 metres. Seb goes on a sponsored walk to collect money for charity. His aunt promises to pay 75 pence for each kilometre he walks. She pays him £6.75 at the end of the walk. How many kilometres does Seb walk? So we need to divide £6.75 by 75 pence. And the easiest way to do that is to count up in steps of 75 pence until we get to £6.75. So we know that each kilometre he gets 75 pence. So that means when he walks 2 kilometres, he must get £1.50, because 75 pence times 2, or 75 pence plus 75 pence, is £1.50. If we double that, we know that 4 kilometres will be £3, because £1.50 times 2 is £3. Double that again, 8 kilometres will be £6, and then to get to £6.75, we just need another 75 pence, so that's 1 extra kilometre to make £6.75. So that means that Seb walks 9 kilometres altogether. Complete this sentence. All equilateral triangles have. We could write sides of the same length or angles of the same size, so that's angles of 60 degrees. Equilateral triangles have all 3 sides the same length. Remember, if two sides are the same length, it's isosceles, and if none of the sides are the same length, then that's a scaling triangle. Equilateral triangles also have angles of the same size, and the reason why that's 60 degrees is because there are 180 degrees in every triangle, and if we divide 180 by 3, we get 60.